Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Elisa Slodzinska, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, BACP. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop Webinar Series. We have adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. On behalf of our Commissioner, Rosa Escarino, I want to inform you that business licenses can be processed online where applicable by visiting chicagobusinessdirect.org. And just note that any websites or emails I mention will be posted in the chat box. If you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn about the program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. To help guide your business and employees during Chicago's reopening process, please visit chicago.gov/reopening. Also, BACP and the City of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications created Shy Biz Emergency Alerts. You can opt in to receive targeted emergency alerts for the business community. If you are interested, please visit chicago.gov/Shy Biz Alerts. And once again, all those emails and websites will be posted in the chat box. And we encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box and send your questions to all panelists. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. And today's webinar will be Google Analytics 101, presented by Francisco Ramirez of Chimbly Consultants. Welcome, Francisco.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco Ramirez. I am a co-owner at Chimbly Consultants. We do marketing and tech support for small businesses. I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about what I consider a really critical topic for small business owners and entrepreneurs, which is Google Analytics. Analytics are so important today, especially with not being able to see customers face to face as often as we used to. And with everything that's going on, when we have data in front of us, we can make really data-informed decisions that can help our businesses stay afloat, that can help our businesses grow and expand in as we move forward. So hopefully you're using Google Analytics and you can take something out of today's presentation. And if you're not using Google Analytics, well, maybe after today you'll start using it. So let us get started. Did you know a couple things about Google Analytics? That it was founded in 1995, so they have over 25 years of data perfecting this product that we're going to be speaking about today. And it was originally called Urchin. It is fluent in 40 languages, which makes it the most popular web analytics tool in the world. So it's collecting data, it's using websites are using it around the world. So it's able to better create demographics and interest categories and reports to help your business thrive. It's used by 64% of top 500 US retailers and 45% of Fortune 500 companies. You're asking yourself maybe right now, well, if they're not using Google Analytics, what are they using? There are other comparable systems out there, such as Adobe has one, IBM has another one, but if you look at from all the competitions, when 64 and 45% are using it, it says that it's probably one of the stronger. And more importantly, this Google Analytics is a free tool for you as a small business owner, and that's why we're here today to talk about how it can help you. Also, a critical thing is that Google Analytics does not share personally identifiable information. This is really critical, especially with all the privacy laws that are coming, in Europe, in Illinois, in New York. So it's something to consider as you're thinking about it, that it does not share personally identifiable information. And there is a paid version, but today we're going to be talking about the free one. And so why Google Analytics? If you're unfamiliar with it or you're not sure why you should be using it, it's really important to have analytics and data to grow your business website. It automatically collects this. You don't have to do anything but to set it up, which, if you don't want to use it, it's still collecting data on your behalf. It has customized reports that we're going to be talking about today. And it integrates into other tools like CRMs. It integrates into MailChimp. It integrates into social media platforms. So it's just not a one and done platform. You can also use Google Analytics to check if you're achieving the goals that you set for your website, for your business. And most importantly for me is using Google Analytics helps you make data-informed decisions. That's really critical for any business that wants to thrive and succeed in our world today. I also believe truly that Google Analytics is really easy to use, really easy to understand, and of course, as it's free, you don't have to pay for it. It really allows you to understand, to track your customers' behavior, the user experience on your website, to really look if your online content is working, is functioning the way you want it to be, how you set it out to be. And it also collects from apps, from online points of sale systems, from video games if you have that, game consoles, CRMs. So it's really a holistic tool to help you and your business thrive and grow. If you are not using Google Analytics, this is just a simple 101 on how to get started. You sign up for a free account on analytics.google.com. It'll lead you through some prompts. You do need a Gmail account. So any Gmail account will do, but make sure that it's a Gmail account that you use because you're going to be receiving updates. Preferably it's a business Gmail account, but it does not have to be. You'll need the name of your business as your account name. When you create the account, you're going to choose between a web, an app, or apps and web. All of us probably are just going to choose the website versus just an app. But if you do have an app out there that you want Google Analytics to work for, then that's a different account. Property setup, you will need your website name, your website URL, the category. It's a drop-down menu, gives you a bunch of category. This really helps Google give you data, comparable data to other businesses that are in the same category industry as you are. And then reporting time zone, make sure you change that to wherever you are, whether it be Chicago, New York, East Coast, or somewhere other. Once you create this account, it's going to give you a tracking ID number, which starts with the letters U and A. And this is your ID that's going to be used for if anybody needs to use it for Facebook, for example, is asking for your Google Analytics tracking ID to connect. This is the number. This is the global site tag that's going to be used on your website. So whenever this tag, this number is put anywhere on social media, on CRMs and MailChimp, it tells Google Analytics to collect that data from that platform. Website platforms like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace have plugins which are free that are already integrated into the platform to collect this. So all you have to do is, once you're done with the website, your web designer, they should have been able to just say, okay, we're ready to install, connect Google Analytics, and it's kind of a really easy process now that all of those platforms have that. But you do have to have an account to be able to set that out. The tracking ID can also be inserted manually to each page of the website if your designer is creating on a different platform that doesn't have those plugins. If you are you don't know where your tracking code is, you have Google Analytics, but you forgot where what the tracking code is, you can always go to admin, and then under tracking info, there'll be menu for tracking code, and you can always find your tracking code there. And the data, a key thing is data starts collecting when you connect Google Analytics to a website, to MailChimp. It will not be collecting data unless it's connected to that platform. So a lot of people think that once they open an account with Google Analytics that it automatically starts collecting the data. That is incorrect. It will not collect data until you make that secondary step of connecting it. And so I've heard, unfortunately, that a lot of web designers create websites for clients and they never connected or created a Google Analytics account. And so they've had their website for 5 years, 7 years, 3 months, and data has not been collected. So it's starting from scratch at that point, unfortunately. And data is always just good to have. Even if you're not using data, collecting data over a longer period of time really gives you power, gives you a lot of information to make really informed decisions when you're ready to look at the data. And if you're not looking at the data yourself, maybe somebody, a consultant, an intern can come in and look at all that data from, the previous 5 years on the website, previous 3 years on the website, and really help you make certain decisions. But if you're not collecting that data will not be available. And so that's why I say, even if you're not interested or still afraid of what information is going to, how to use that information, having that data and being collecting it is really important. One thing to consider as you're setting up your Google Analytics is to remove you and your employee's IP address. That means that Google Analytics will not be collecting data from yourself or from your employees. What that means for me is that I click on my website sometimes 100 times a day because I'm checking something, because I'm trying to find something, because I'm sharing it with someone. And so that data can really skew the numbers, especially for a small business like ours. I don't need to see myself, 100 users or in my own data. So what I can do is create a filter to remove my IP address so that whenever my computer, my browser, my phone in my business uh, uses Chimbly Consultants website, it will not be collected by Google Analytics. And so you just go to admin, go to account, all filters, and then you create a filter. There's a plus add filter button there, which is in red. So you click on that, you name the filter. Usually it's, Chimbly Consultants employees or internal data. And then you click predefined. At that point, it's going to be click on exclude, click on traffic from IP addresses, and click on equal to. Then you're going to type in your IP address. Don't know your IP address? Not a problem. Google, what's my IP address? And Google will tell you, will show it to you on the once you Google it. Your IP address is a long list of numbers. Once you type those numbers, you hit save, and now Google Analytics knows not to show you as part of the data your own daily data. Now, we can get more in depth with this information because you can create various views on Google Analytics so that you can have one view that collects all data, including employees and yourself. Then you can have a secondary view that collects only external data without your employees, yourself. And then you can have a third view that collects internal data. So you can actually monitor, not monitor, but collect data of how your employees are using the website itself. And so this is just a little bit more in-depth. It's doable. It's kind of very similar to this filter, but you do have to create multiple views, which is really without creating multiple accounts. So it's one account, various views, and now you can look and search through the data. It's always good also to have multiple views because you want all data in case you need it in the future. You just want to collect all data, but I truly recommend to set a view to collect data excluding yourself and your employees because we do probably use our own websites a lot and it can skew data. So let's start with the reports, which is what you're really here for. There are 3 types of reports that we're going to be talking about today. There's real-time report, actually 4, real-time, audience, behavior, and acquisition. So we're going to spend the bulk of our time today on those 4 reports. And we're going to start with real-time. Real-time report tells you the number of people on your site in real time, as best as Google Analytics can capture that data in real time. It tells you geographical information, where they're coming from, what pages they're viewing in real time, and conversions if you are in e-commerce business. It also tells you if those conversions are happening. So this is a real time. We're going to try it out so you can see how the real time works. Chimbly Consultants doesn't really have a lot of traffic, but if you have a split minute, a second here, if you don't mind, on your mobile phone, on your tablet, or on your desktop, just go into chimbly.com, chimbly.com, and we're going to see what happens when we do that by looking at Google Analytics. So this is just the account, Google Analytics account. This is the Chimbly.com account. And right now, as you can see, there are 4, 5, 6. It's right now. Thank you. You paid attention and listened to my prompt here. So 7 people just popped on the website, and it was at 0 a minute ago. And so there you go, 17 now. So thank you. So here, the top referrals is where they're going to be coming from. If they're coming from social media, which they're not, you're all entering this data yourself. So you actually typed in chimbly.com, so it's not a referral source. You did not click on Facebook or Instagram to get there, so it's not a social traffic source. And there are no keywords because you probably typed in the address. And so it just gives you really cool data right now in real time of what's happening. 63% of you are doing it on your mobile device, and 38% of you are doing it on your desktop. And now here you are on my 93% of you are on the homepage. 1%, 3% are on contact us, and 3% are in services. And then, really cool here, the majority of you are in Chicago or in the Midwest, but I see somebody is in Eagan. I don't know where that is, but that's really cool. Welcome. And then one person is in Conyers. Welcome. Really cool. And the majority of you are in Chicago area, right there. 27 of you in Chicago, Maryville, Mundelein. So if you're really wanting to see if a campaign is working, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, real-time report just gives you immediate information, which is a really, really cool feature of Google Analytics. So that's the first report, real-time report. And so we're going to discuss it a little further on how you can use it for your business. The second report we're going to be talking about is the audience report. And this is really what most people, business owners or entrepreneurs, use on a day-to-day basis. And it tells you users, how many users used your website, new users, sessions, page views, pages per session, average session duration, and bounce rate. And this can look really intimidating when you first open this dashboard, because it's a lot of information, a lot of numbers. But today I want to just take some time to break it down and see and let you know why it's important to know this information. So users is who came to your website. Users versus new users is returning based on the browser and device. If somebody came to your website and used the same computer 3 times, it's just considered a user and didn't return. But if that person then uses a different browser or a different IP address, they're going to they are going to be considered a new user because they use something different, and Google Analytics is tracking it as a different person. So sessions, a session is a user using your website I just had 36 sessions in a couple of seconds because you all opened up the website. A session starts when a user opens the website page, and it ends automatically after 30 minutes of inactivity. So sometimes you leave your browser open, you go have lunch, you forget your laptop is on overnight. The session ended according to Google Analytics because nobody was using that website. But it starts again when somebody moves the mouse and starts looking through the website again. It's a new session. And so a session also ends when the user closes the website page. So those are sessions. Page views is the total number of times pages were shown. So if you go on a website and click on About Us, click on Contact, click on Gallery, those are all page views that are being processed into the data. And it includes repeated viewing. So if I go to Homepage, Contact, gallery, and then I go back to homepage, that counts as 2 page views for homepage because I went back to it. Pages per session is the average number of pages viewed during each session. And so if you have 5 pages on your website and people are usually, you have an average of 2 pages per session view, that means that on average, people are just looking at 2 pages versus all 5 pages of your website. Average session duration is the average length of a session based on users that visited your site. So from the time they go to home to the time they are either inactive for 30 minutes or they leave, they close out, what's that average time? So our data today is probably going to show that our duration was very low if all of you clicked out of our website because you came in, we did the little project and then you left. And so that average session duration is going to drop because of that. But sometimes if your users are reading a lot or like, Amazon probably has a very high average session duration because we're shopping, we're looking, we are deciding, we're going to the cart, and so that's why that really matters if you're interested in that for your website. The bounce rate is something that confuses people, but I consider it really critical metric. The bounce rate is the percentage of users who left after viewing only one page on your site and taking no action. So bounce rate is you go to a website, you didn't like it, it's not what you thought, and you leave the website, bounce rate will go up. It's a percentage, and so the higher the percentage, the more likely that people are not being engaged with your website. The lower the percentage, the better, because it shows you that people come to your website and enjoy what they see and are doing other things on your website. And so lower percentage, the better. Bounce rate is really good to know if your website is actually engaging people and people find it useful to accomplish whatever objective you set forth. The audience report also has demographics, technology, interests, mobile, geography information. This is just more in-depth information if you're interested in learning about that. Age, gender, depending on who your target market is. This is a good way to see if you're hitting your target market. Technology, if you care to know where your users are coming from, what operating system they're using, is your website useful for the screen resolution that they're using in their home. Interest, it really gives you affinity categories in market segments based on the category that you chose, allows you to really see if you're truly hitting your target market, and because that's who's coming to your website. And it also allows you to make informed decisions about targeting, about ads in the future, about content in the future by looking at who's coming to your website. Mobile is where are they using, who's using your, how are they finding your website? Is it desktop, mobile, tablet? What kind of devices? It even gives you service providers, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile. This is just more data that allows you to make some decisions if you really care about that or it really impacts what type of business you are, what you're in. And then geography, as you saw briefly, language, country, city, continent. This is really good for businesses who are trying to target certain markets around the US, or it just gives you information about who's coming to your website, and maybe you're not even targeting that region in the United States and you have a really large viewing from that region. Well, maybe it's time to target, place some ads in that region. All this data can be seen for a specific time range, so you can choose 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, multiple months, and so it allows you to condense the data, to expand it, to really dive deep in case if you ran a campaign in November, it allows you to go back to November and choose 1 day in November or 1 week in November, and we'll show you in a minute. And then this is what that report will look like. So real time is the report on the left. Then you go to audience and overview, gives you everything that I just spoke about. And so the time range is on the left. Right now it's 1 week at a time, but if you go back to October 1st through February 25th and you apply, it just gives you more data. This is what I just mentioned: users, new users, sessions, page views, average session duration, and bounce rate. Once again, higher the bounce rate, the more likely that they're not interacting much with the website, the lower the bounce rate is that they're doing a lot of actions. When we look at language right here, you can look at country. Where are our visitors coming from? If you find yourself like, well, why are a lot of people in the UAE coming to our website? It's something to look at. It could be bots. It could be that somebody picked up your website in some website in that country and linked it to yours. And so it's really a lot of interesting reasons why, but you can dive deeper into this. City, where are they coming from? Not set. That means that Google Analytics could not track where that IP address was located. But yeah, we want to be in Chicago as a top because that's where we're located. Browsers, there you have Chrome, Edge, Safari as the top three if you care about it. Here you have geography, you have language, you have location, you have interest, which we talked about in terms of the affinity category, shoppers, lifestyle, banking and finance. In your in market segment is what industry you're in and how what percentage of them are in that industry that you want to attract, and then other categories. And so this really helps you in the future for targeting for ads. So we check demographics, geography, behavior, new versus returning, technology. We talked about the browser. And so you can play, there's a right here, screen colors, screen resolution, operating system. When we talk about mobile, I mentioned that you can check for device, and so this is all under that same report. Service provider is right there, really interesting data. And see, and it's not set. If it's not set, that just, some maybe the information was private or the IP address weren't being collected in that way. So here, really great information. Audience is where you're going to find that information that we just discussed. Real-time audience acquisition and behavior are the four things we're going to be talking about today. Audience is what we just discussed, but really, really important dashboard just to see who's coming, how many people are coming to your, if anything, is how many users you have on your website. How many users is really important. How long are they on your website, and are they leaving or not right away? Three things that you can look at so you're not overly intimidated by that report. So that's the audience report. We're going to move over to the behavior report. The behavior report is, as the report is named, what behavior are users doing on your website? So it's what pages are they viewing, what behavior flow. So if when they arrived at a home page, where do they go from there? Title of pages, landing pages, exit pages, site speed, events. This is a little bit more, I call it like higher level information that if we're barely starting with Google Analytics, this might be overwhelming to really dive deep into, but it's really good to know that you have access to it. How are people engaged on your site? And it's really critical because you should have designed your website with your customer in mind. When they come to your website, you should have thought of the journey that they were going to take once they arrived at the home page. Where do you want them to go after your home page? Where do you want them to go after that page? And if you didn't design your website with that mentality, then behavior report is going to be all over the place. But if you did design your website with that, thought process, that strategy, then the behavior report is really good to see if that journey is being taken by that customer, by that user. And if not, where are they leaving? If you have a campaign, a newsletter, MailChimp, email, social media, and you're sending people to certain pages on your website, are they landing on that page, and what happens after they land on that page? This report really allows you to get all that information. So let's take a look. So once again, real-time audience, and now we're going to go to behavior. When you go to overview, first right here, you'll see page views with the same information from the audience, unique pages, time on page, bounce rate, exit, and these are the pages. So home page is the most visited for our website, and then we have a free Clio template for envelope printing, which is the second. Good to know. And then our team. So if this is the journey that we wanted people to take, then we can check to see if that is what's happening. When you look at the page title, is just what is the title of the page. It's the same link, but it's now the title instead of. If site search, if they're, people are searching certain terms on Google and that's how they're finding us, that you would see that here. The behavior flow is really interesting and I love it because this is what I was talking about. When a user lands on your website, where do they go and when do they close their session? So right here, there were 341 landings on the home page. And then from there, you can tell 34 went to About Our Team, 30 went to the free template, one person went to Contact Us, and 261 dropped off after the homepage. So this is really interesting because it's like the journey, the tree of your website. And if you are thinking like, why don't people, check out or why don't people, sign up for my newsletter? This tree allows you to say, okay, well, they started on the landing page, they did go to that page, but they didn't make it to the third step. Why? And so it allows you to look at your website through different eyes, through different context, and maybe make some edits, updates, or changes to your website. Events, just a lot of great information that we're going to discuss later on, but events is actions that are taken on your website that allows the user to get something. So they downloaded something, they clicked on an outbound link, or they called you from your website. So if you want people to watch videos or to download your free guide or to call you, this report right here under behavior, events, overview gives you that information if it's happening or not. And so if you have a free something and you want them to download it and you think it's happening, but you don't know how to check, this is a great way. We do have some downloadable things on our website, and so it's happening. We can see here that people are downloading. That's the behavior report for us. A tons of information, as I said, but really just kind of the basics of what you might be looking for when you start experimenting and looking into this report. We also have the acquisition report, which is the final one that we're going to be talking about today. And this one gives you source, medium, campaigns, and Google Ads. If you are paying for Google Ads in the future or now, that data is coming in to the acquisition report. I love this report, especially as somebody who does social media for clients. This report allows me to check and see if the social media links are referring people to the website when we post something that is asking them to do that. So the source is the origin of your traffic, where who sent people to your website. It could be a search engine, it could be another website, it could be a social media platform. And the source is Google, the source is Bing, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. The source could be BACP if your website is on BACP's website and they click on it, that's the source. If you're on Chamber of Commerce and they put your website on the Chamber of Commerce website and somebody clicked on it, that's the source. The medium is the general category of that source. So it's just a basic name. It's organic, referral, CPC, cost per click, none, or email. None means direct, that somebody typed in the address of the website. And so it's really good just to like differentiate what a source is and what a medium is. And so we're going to talk about those two because that's where it tells you a lot of information of where your users are coming from. We're not going to really speak about campaigns today or Google Ads, that's a whole other in-depth level of data and reports, but just know that if you're running campaigns, if you're running Google Ads, this acquisition report is where you'd find that critical information. Keywords, landing pages, and other critical information is available to dive deeper with all these reports. Okay, acquisition. If we start there, overview is just the easiest place. And so organic search, direct, referral, social, that is the medium, as I just discussed, medium. So the majority are coming from organic. It could be a Google search. It could be a Bing search, a Yahoo search. It could be somebody typing in Google like Chimbly Francisco. Okay, well, Google shows you our website. Direct means that somebody typed chimbly.com and boom, the website popped up. Referral is what we talked about. A different website referred that user to us, and then social. You can also see Google Ads on this page. You could also see email campaigns on this page. So those are other mediums that Google Analytics collects. Social, if we click on social, we will then dive deeper into what social platforms are coming to, are referring the user to the website. So you see Yelp, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you use Pinterest, if you use Twitter, if you're promoting or putting information out there on these platforms, this is where you should see if they're actually coming. And right here, bounce rate, you can see very important. One person came from Instagram and they only came to one page. We can check deeper to see what page this person from Instagram clicked on by going through there's a bunch of just other like behavior and username and all that really good information to like go down deeper. It's like a funnel of figuring out what's working and what's not. And so you have tree maps, same thing from when the organic search, what happens after they arrive. Source medium is what I discussed, the two differences. So the source medium is right here. Google is where the majority of our organic, but Bing is also a place where people are finding us. That's really important to know because if you figure out that people are coming from Google and Bing or vice versa, maybe a lot of people are coming from Bing and we don't even think about Bing, maybe we should consider advertising on Bing versus Google. And that's just based on data, not on your personal preference of Google versus Bing. I don't know what some of these are, and so it's really good to investigate what is Baidu, what is clutch.co, and by going to those websites, you can figure out like, how did you get my information? And maybe there are relationships that can happen, or you learn something new from a new website that's out there. So really interesting information and critical information for you to make better data-informed decisions, which at the end of the day is what we want you to do as a business owner. That will help you grow. Google Ads right there, campaigns right there. We won't discuss them today, but this is where you would find that information. And once again, it's for whatever time range you want. You can change the time and compare. You can also compare October 1, 2020 to maybe the previous year or the past three months, and then when you hit apply, you'll get two reports, one versus the other, and so those comparison allows you to see like what changes. Maybe you made a big change in October. You want to see what data told you before October and what data tells you after October. This is a really great tool to compare. Any report can be compared in that way. So that's the acquisition report. So we talked about the real-time report, behavior report, audience report, acquisition report. We are going to spend the next couple of minutes looking at some real-life examples so that you can kind of grasp around why you would use these reports or when you would use these reports, and then we're opening it up for a question and answer session. So when can you use the real-time report in your business? The one we started today's presentation with. There's a couple of reasons and opportunities to use this report. So if you sent a newsletter with a code or a link a blog and you're really curious to see if people, it goes out at 10 a.m., jumping on Google Analytics over the next, 15 minutes to see if people are clicking it is a really good way to say if that email made a difference or not. Are they reading your blog article? So that's one, easy way to use it. Are they clicking? Cyber Monday or Black Friday. If you've been promoting an offer that will take place from 10 a.m. to noon on Monday, well, are users coming to your website in anticipation of the deal? So you can pop on the real-time report at 9 a.m. on that Monday and check it, leave it open for an hour and are people coming to the website? Are people coming? Yes. Are they expecting that deal at 10 a.m.? It's a really good way to prepare you and your staff and your team to say oh my gosh, this might be a really good day for us, or we're not seeing users right now. What's happening? Maybe go ahead and promote it again on social media just in case. Did you posted on your blog you posted your blog on several social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Well, when you post, are they clicking on it, and who's clicking on it? Because that also saves you time. If you see that every time you post a blog, the audience is coming from LinkedIn, reconsider your strategy for Facebook and Instagram, and don't spend valuable time posting on all three if the real time is telling you oh, in real time, only people from this platform are coming. So the real time is a little bit more of sales. If you're a e-commerce, real time is great because it tells you immediately are people responding to a promotion, to a sale that you promoted, or to a giveaway. So think about that when you are doing that, and it's a really way to get excited as things are happening. So that's a real-time report. The other reports are what I consider just a little bit more useful because it really allows you to dive deep into the data. I really ask you to determine the purpose of your website and find the metrics within Google Analytics that will help you measure that objective. Okay, one example is you post a blog every week. Every week you post a blog. Okay, well, you go to the behavior, you go to overview, and then you check, are they reading the blog by looking at the page? And so I'm going to stop comparing. Give me a second. I don't want to compare. So if you have a blog, and I'm going to change this to a little bit more extensive. Cool. If you have a blog, then you go to the behavior, and your blog posts should be popping up here. And if they're not, that means there is something going wrong, whether the content of the blog or where you're promoting the blog. So by looking at this report, you understand whether your blogs are being read. A lot of people just yeah, they're being read. 2 people told me they read them. That's not data. And so this really allows you to get that data to understand whether they are being read or not. Another example would be, give me a second, define, yes. You want your users to buy products. So you have an e-commerce store and you want them to get to the checkout, but maybe they're not. And so you can look at the journey, the behavior flow, where are they stopping? And why don't they make it to the cart? Or maybe they're putting items in the cart and not and getting lost. So this behavior report allows you to see why that sale is not being completed. Another thing is, if you're thinking about the objective of your website, you created a website. Why did you create the website? Well, I just wanted people to know that our business was a legitimate business, and I just care for the reputation of my business. And so then when they search on Google, they will find our website, they'll know that we're legitimate, and that's great. Fantastic. So your average session duration should not be very high because there's not much content on your website. There's not much to see on your website besides legitimacy. Great. You shouldn't expect your average session to be high. And then you shouldn't see a ton of page views because there's not a lot of content. Something to think about there. Maybe your bounce rate is pretty high. And so if there's only one page, don't freak out about that bounce rate. So this allows you to really look at numbers through a different lens, because when I'm saying high bounce rate is no good, but if you only care that that a user came to your website, saw the page and left, your bounce rate will be high, but it doesn't matter to you. Very important, because numbers don't always tell the same story. Another example is, are you aware of where you're losing users on your website? For some people, this is really critical. They're losing users before they get to the sign up page, before they get to the purchase page. And so if you go to behavior, site search, site content, and exit pages, it tells you where your users are exiting the page. What's the last page they see before they leave? And you saw that we had the high bounce rate. So they come to home and they leave from home. Then they leave from the free Clio template, or they leave from About Our Team after they read about us. Then fourth is contact us. Okay, if we really want people, and for our website, we have a contact us on every single page. So just because I see contact us on number 4 does not mean that we're not being contacted. Something to think about your website. If you do not have a contact us on every page and you only have a contact us on the contact us page and it's number 5 on your list, that's something to worry about and something to reconsider. Why is contact us number 5 and not number 2? That's when they should leave your website after they contact you. Data allows you to make some changes. Data maybe allows you to put a link to contact us directly at the top of your website page. It just allows you to redesign your website in a way that's going to help the user. When you post on social media, does your call to action ask users to click on your website? If that's what is being asked, how do you know it's happening? Well, the acquisition report, as I showed you, allows you to look at social media and where they're coming from. If you have a really good post, say you posted something October 22nd that got a ton of views on Facebook, ton of likes on Instagram, ton of shares, but then you come to Google Analytics and nobody actually clicked on your website, likes and comments are great. But if the purpose of that post was to get people to come to your website and that didn't happen, you won't know unless you really dive into the data. And so that's where the connection lies between social media platforms, your website, data, sales. It's all interconnected at the end of the day. For some people who don't even promote stuff on Facebook and they see Facebook as number 2, maybe reconsider that. Why am I not promoting more on Facebook if that's number 2 without promotion? I can get it to number 1 and maybe I can get more users that way. This data allows you to dive deeper. I spend so much time on Instagram, but I only get 2 people to click on my website. Well, maybe we shouldn't spend too much time on Instagram, or maybe you spend a lot of time on Instagram, but your goal is not to click on your website. Great. Well, mission accomplished by looking at this report. All that information is necessary to really understand the numbers that you see within Google Analytics. I really want my users to arrive at this particular landing page on my website. Are they? So if you look at the behavior report, at which we've looked at it already, and we're now repeating reports and everything here, but I just want you to know that there's so many different scenarios that can happen where these reports are useful. So somebody might be looking at this particular report for one specific objective, but you might be looking at it for a whole other objective, but that same report is useful for both objectives. And so we looked at this landing tree of where they're landing. So a lot of people are landing here, which is the return address. This is the home page, and then the learn about our team. So landing pages are important because maybe you ran a campaign, a month-long campaign, and you wanted people to land on your new painting, your new jewelry that you created and are promoting, and it's going to go on sale on March 1st. by looking at this report, you're looking like, are people actually landing on that page or not? If you're paying for Google Ads and you're paying $200, $700, whatever that amount is, and your landing page is a specific page, are they landing on that page? Or is it broken? Or they don't even get there, but they're clicking on your ad, but they don't even click on the landing page. Those are ways to see if all that you're doing behind the scenes is working. So with that, I want to end with collaboration. There is a really cool, also Google Analytics allows you to collaborate with people. So you can manage users, you can add users to be able to edit information, to collaborate, to read and analyze without changing anything. And so if you go to the admin section of Google Analytics, you can add new email addresses, marketing agencies, partners, and so you can have multiple users within the Google Analytics account that can do various things. The highest level is manage users. It can do everything and anything, just like the person who opened the account. And so if you open the account with an old Gmail account that you don't use anymore, well, go ahead and add a new user yourself with your new Gmail or new business account. And now there's two accounts managing the account, but now you're only using that one email that you now use. I, as a marketing consultant, people give me access to read and analyze their Google Analytics to give them reports on how to better use their social media. I don't need to collaborate. I don't need to edit. I don't need to manage users. So by just reading and analyzing, I get to access all that, all the reports that we just saw, and make informed decisions for the clients. With that being said, thank you so much. Again, my name is Francisco Ramirez. Follow us on Chimbly Consultants on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for other free webinars around the city of Chicago and other topics. And then I'll open it up now for question and answer session.
Thank you so much, Francisco. That was not only an overview, but also some good details. So thank you so much for sharing that. And we do have questions coming in. If you haven't sent in your question yet, please do so in the chat box and send it to all panelists. First question is, what do you consider a good call to action after reading a blog? And there's a follow-up question too, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Yeah, I don't think there's one good call to action because it depends on your blog. If you want your blog to, become a sale, then you want people to purchase. And so call to action is purchase today. I have a client who sells a specific type of product, and after every blog is information on, something related to the product, and it's like at the end, purchase one today. So that's a call to action. But for other blogs, it's just like, want to read more about this topic? Visit our website or go to this other article that's on our website. And so the call to action is really like, what's the objective of that blog post or the content? And then don't just throw something that's not related. I guess that's very important. Don't throw a call to action that's not related to the content that they just read.
And the follow-up is, how would one reassess the landing objective if it's not being achieved?
Yeah, that's really great. So design, I would look at the loading speed of that page as one just quick. Mobile, is it loading really quick? Maybe some people put images that are really large, and when you're trying to download a page, it takes a while, and people are very impatient, so they just close. So that's one. Something just technical, right? Sometimes it can be technical and not design. Number two, check the design. Maybe the letter is too small, the font is not working for people, and then they just leave. Or number three, where the promotion is happening, that the customer or the user is really not interested in that. And so reconsider maybe reposting somewhere where the user is actually interested in the topic that you're trying to get people to see for that landing page. At the end of the day, the landing page needs to be written, the content needs to be written, the pictures need to be chosen for the ideal person reading that. And so it has to be a very specific persona.
Next question, does Google collect data if someone uses a private browser?
Oh, that's really incognito
Mhm.
is what I'm asking. That's a really great question, and I am going to table that right now because I have not heard either or, and nor have I ever been asked that. But yeah, sorry about that.
Next question is, what are some of the industry standards for some of the metrics, as in bounce rates, etc.?
Oh, great question. So I've done some research on this with various clients, and the industry standards depend on the industry. Sorry. I know it's like doesn't seem like a specific. So law firms have a different bounce rate than, marketing, digital companies than artists. So number one, comparing the metrics is comparing them to your industry. But also number two is comparing them to the objective of the website. And so maybe a law firm can compare themselves to another law firm based on the industry, but also the objective. So this law firm is just having content every day, content every day, content every day. This law firm, no content, just wants the reputation legitimacy. So even within that, those two metrics and the standard is going to be different because we want people to come to this one law firm that is pumping content, whereas this other law firm, if we don't have a ton of users, it's not a big deal because that's not the objective. And so I think it's really looking at the objective of your website. Why did you create a website? And what industry are you in to really dive into those, the baseline and the comparison of numbers.
If we have two Gmail accounts, how do we merge them for one Google Analytics?
Cannot be merged, but you can add the new Gmail account as a new user that can manage everything, but cannot be merged.
Could Google Analytics assist with optimizing meta descriptions / keywords?
Can yes and no. Yes, in that Google Analytics gives you information about which keywords are being used on your website to find your website. But no, in terms of the work for keywords needs to be done on the actual website. And so you can learn a lot about from Google Analytics, and you can learn a lot from Google My Business as well, which is another free platform. You can learn a lot about which keywords are being used to find your website, but the work then needs to be done by you on the website, in the back end of the website to um, make those keywords pop out, to have enough SEO holistic pillars to make sure that people then find your website through different keywords if you're not happy with how you're being found. And number two, Google Analytics then allows you to compare from pre-changes on your website to post-changes on your website to see if the new keywords are working and doing the trick.
Someone said, I'm not seeing any reports in my new Google Analytics account. How would I set those up?
The reports are automatic. So you don't have to do anything to set up the reports. The reports come with the platform. So I'm curious if you are not seeing reports, what's happening because they're like automatic. You might not see data. And if you're not seeing data, it means that your Google Analytics is not properly set up on your website, which is a different issue. But you should be able to see the reports on the left-hand side if you have a Google Analytics account.
And just a side note that this webinar is being recorded and will be made available on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Chicago BACP. And I will post that link in the chat box. Next question is, do you have to have a website right now in order to use Google Analytics?
You can open an account, but the account will have zero data because it's not connected to anything tracking that data. If you're using MailChimp, yeah, but at the end of the day, you need a website to track users, to track new users. So unless it's connected, your Google Analytics account is just going to be blank, which is fine.
What is the best platform, website, email marketing tool, or those are the two options, to connect Google Analytics?
Honestly, Google Analytics works with everything. There is no best of, because all it's doing is it's collecting data, and data is exactly the same no matter the platform that is being used.
If someone's interested in contacting you, Chimbly Consultants, for a setup and then ongoing maintenance, what is the best way to contact you?
You can send me an email, francisco@chimbly.com, or you can go to our website and fill out a contact form, or you can call me, 765-404-8238.
Next question is, I need SEO, but there are so many companies out there that claim they are the best. What is the best way to accomplish SEO?
Fantastic question. We believe that you should interview your SEO digital marketing agency as if it was a job interview. You should be asking them, okay, what are some guarantees that you're making? What are some expectations? What should I see in 2 months? What should I see in 3 months? What are some guarantees and what are non-negotiables? And so you interviewing that person allows you to see how honest they are and whether they really think they can do a good job with SEO or are just going to string you along and, unfortunately, not see the results that you're expecting. Now, with that in mind, expectations have to be realistic, and a good SEO company will be able to tell you that's not realistic. That's going to take 6 months versus 3 months. And so I think by interviewing various SEO companies or digital marketing agencies, you can get a sense of who's telling you kind of more on the honest side of reality and who's just trying to get your business without really thinking through the strategy and what's really doable. I wish you the best of luck, but I think at the end of the day is interviewing people, agencies, and not going only with the price, the lowest price, or the one that claims they're the best, because whoever is the best are going to lead you through a journey and a timeline of everything that you should expect with the results that are part of your overall objective.
Can you do analytics also on LinkedIn activity?
Oh, yeah. There's analytics on Facebook, analytics on Instagram, analytics on LinkedIn, analytics on Twitter, Yelp. Every platform has their own analytics, which is really cool, and it's all free. But at the end of the day, all those analytics, if you are posting on those platforms in hopes that people come to your website, Google Analytics is where it all comes together. But if you're just posting on Facebook for promotion, brand awareness, product awareness, you have a ton of analytics on Facebook, a ton of analytics of LinkedIn where you can see if your posts are succeeding, are not, what's doing well, what's not, and that's a separate, a whole separate platform of analytics.
Can you explain what is CRM?
Sorry, I thought I heard an echo. Yeah, CRM is a customer relationship management system. CRM is like Salesforce. It's where you put in all your data of your clients, information, email address, numbers, how many purchases have they made, when was their first purchase. It's a way to manage all your clients. And so it's called CRM for short, client relationship management software. It's usually software system. QuickBooks is a CRM system. And so that can integrate to Google Analytics as well.
If you have links outside your main domain, like a Square Store site, a shared Google Drive document, can you track that activity as part of the same session?
Uh, Google Drive is not associated to Google Analytics because it's not tracking. So Google Analytics only gets data from wherever that code is. And as far as I know, the Google Analytics code is not in Google Drive. So no, if the Google Analytics code is in Square, I'm sorry, what was that word?
I think it was Squarespace or Square
Squarespace,
Store. Yeah.
Square Store. If there is a Google Analytics code in Square Store, then yes, Google can track that. But it would be the one session within Square Store. But once they leave to the Google Docs, unless there's a way that they're integrated, which I'm not familiar with Square Store, unfortunately, um, it would probably end the session and then come back to the session after you open up Square Store again, is my understanding, as if they're not kind of like within the same
Mhm.
world, because I think there's two different Google Drive and Square Store are two different things.
What does the term organic refer to?
Yeah, organic is when you search for keywords such as tech support Chicago, three keywords, and Google decides which websites to show you based on your search, and then you click on one of the websites that they showed you. That is organic. Direct is when you know what you're looking for and you type exactly what you're looking for. Um, one ice, if you're looking for Starbucks coffee, Logan Square, boom, they show you the perfect website. That's direct. Organic is coffee, Logan Square, shows you a ton of websites. You make the decision of which one to click on. Organic.
Next question. What are the benefits of the paid Google 360 and is it worth it?
In doing the research for Google Analytics, I found that is beneficial for large companies, hundreds of employees, thousands of employees, because it can really break down uh, the Google Analytics into more like departments. It's multifaceted. It also has just a little bit more of the information that we're not in-depth information that we're not going to get here. So from all my experience working with clients, nobody has ever thought about paying for that, and I don't know enough to say yes, pay for it. So Google Analytics for free has everything that is useful in terms of small business and entrepreneurs.
To actually track data, you need to put tags on a website. Is that correct?
If you're doing it manually, yes, that is correct. If you have a platform like Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, and the plugin that's already part of that platform allows you to connect Google Analytics to the website, that plugin does it automatically to every single page.
Do you need two individual accounts with Google Analytics if you have two different websites? They must be separate, right?
You can use one account, but no, sorry, I just misspoke. Yes, you do need two accounts. Um, you're going to need two UI tracking numbers. Otherwise, both websites are going to come to the same tracking number, and that's not possible because you have two domains. So every account has a specific domain, which is the website, and then a specific tracking number. So yes, you are correct.
Okay. I believe we covered all questions relating to Google Analytics. So thank you so
I
much.
think I see one
Oh,
more to expand on the previous
oh,
SEO question.
yep.
Can I use the software that is available from third parties, or is it only for professional web designers? Are there any reputable SEO software to purchase if it is something I can do? Yeah, Yoast, Yoast. Yoast SEO plugin works really well with WordPress sites. And I believe there's a new one, MathRank, I believe it's called. Came out within 2020 in terms of like really upping up their game. Rank Math, I believe it is. It's also a free plugin. These are both free that you can put in WordPress and really helps you with SEO. And then there's a paid version of both as well that gives you even more in-depth information. So no, it's not only for web developers. And yes, you can do it yourself. Sorry, those are two plugins that I've used in the past, and they've worked well.
Great. Thank you so very much for answering that question. So once again, Francisco, thank you for joining us. This webinar will be posted on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Chicago BACP. And before we leave, can you mention those plugins one more time?
Did you see it?
Did not. I know it was Yoast. What was the other one?
Yeah, and MathRank, I believe it's what it's called.
MathRinc?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. It is.
Oh, sorry. Rank, RANK. Yeah, if you Google SEO plugins, free SEO plugins for WordPress, Yoast will come up, and then I believe it's MathRank. Oh, sorry about that. Math something.
Oh, it's
Rank Math there. Thank you, somebody.
I'll post that in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Francisco, as always, it's been a pleasure with you sharing information. Once again, his contact information is on this slide. And as we conclude, Francisco, any final words to our attendees?
Yes. Check today on your website with your web designer if somebody designed it and ask, do I have Google Analytics on my website? If you don't, set it up today and start collecting data today. If you do, great. It's time to look at the data and start finding out if your website is doing what you wanted to do. So good luck, and hope everybody has a great weekend. Happy March.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our attendees for joining us this morning. We wish you a good Friday and a good weekend. Thank you.